Is your mind a mess? Are you in control of your mind, or is your mind in control of you? You know, is your mind in control of your emotions, your behaviors, and your thoughts? If so, then it's probably time for you to tune into this. So what we're going to do each week is we are going to go through some certain skills and techniques that are going to help you get a little bit more control of your mind, your thoughts, your emotions, and your behaviors. And it's going to be divided up each week into, we're going to give you some theory, we're going to give you some practice, might give you some examples as well. And the start of this series is about mindfulness. Now, I'm sure that lots of you have heard about mindfulness. Everyone's talking about it at the moment. Mindfulness this, mindfulness that, mindfulness the other. But and I suppose what people don't really do is they don't break it down for people. They don't tell people what they're doing, when they're doing. So what we're going to do over this series is tell you what to do, when to do it, how to do it. And by the end of that, you should start to notice some more control of your own mind. So how would you describe sort of mindfulness to people? The way I would describe it is mindfulness is it's like trying to get a drunken friend home after a night on the lash. Yeah. So imagine you take your friend out now who's drunk and you want to get them home safely, and your friend's swaying all over the place, and you're trying to get them into a taxi and get them home. And they're like, oh, I'll have a kebab. And they start to wander off and want to get a kebab. And you're like, no, come on, let's get you in the taxi. Let's get you home. And you're like, come on, so here we go. So mindfulness is about the control of your attention. Yeah, the control of your attention, increasing your awareness, and being in the moment. Yeah, so not being distracted. So it's like that drunken friend, isn't it? You're trying to get them in the taxi and they're wandering off. Oh, there's someone over there. Oh, he looks nice. She looks nice. And they're wandering around. And what we're going to try and do is we're going to practice bringing the mind back. And that's the attention part of it. So I was going to say a little bit about the, why is mindfulness so popular at the moment? And the reason it's so popular and everyone's talking about it is because there's an increasing evidence base for mindfulness. And maybe we will give you some references for you to have a look at. Traditionally, there's not been that much evidence about mindfulness, but more and more is coming through now. And this is coming through some of the top universities, Ivy League universities in the States and in the UK, mostly Johns Hopkins University. So, what's the purpose of mindfulness, right? Not only that, but how does it affect the body? So if you think about, there's a nerve that runs through all of our bodies, yeah, and it's called the vagus nerve. And what the vagus nerve does is it is attached to our amygdala at the back of our brain, and this is where our threat system is, right? So if you like, the amygdala is like the watchtower, and it's constantly scanning for danger. And what the amygdala does is it only really has one purpose, and that purpose is to keep us alive. So it's constantly scanning for threat. So some of you may notice that you're very jumpy, or you're very anxious at things that can't kill you. And what we're going to do is we're going to start to reduce that threat system, or bring that amygdala down. And to do that, so what we're going to do through this is we're going to try to reduce your sensitivity. If you're a jumpy person, you just jump at anything. We're going to try to reduce your sensitivity, because lots of people watching this will be hypersensitive. We're going to try to bring down your reactivity, and we're going to hopefully get your baseline anxiety down a bit. So that's what's on offer, really. And so the last thing I'd say about the vagus nerve is that you can see it on a brain scan. You can see it when it's hot and it's red. And what we're going to do is show you the skills to bring that down. So like I said, the amygdala, designed to keep us alive. Great at doing that, but it's absolutely terrible at assessing threat. It can't tell the difference between a lion and a man in a lion suit. So what kind of mindfulness are we going to do? You know, there's lots of different types of mindfulness. There's sitting on a mountainside in Thailand, levitating. There's contemplative, there's prayer. We're going to forget all of that, and we're going to show you what they call mindfulness on the fly, which is how to incorporate this in your life. So not on a mountain in Thailand, but you know, when someone's banging their shopping trolley into your legs in the supermarket, you know, and it's irritating you again and again. It's mindfulness, controlling your mind in that moment, not turning around and slapping the person in the face, but moving on from that point. So mindfulness as we go about our day. That's what we're after. So when we think of mindfulness, what we're really thinking about is the states of mind. Yeah, and mindfulness goes back centuries. And what they recognized centuries ago is that human beings had three very distinct states of mind. And I'm going to talk to you about those states of mind right now. So the three states of mind are what they call the emotion mind, the logic or the reasonable mind, and then old-fashioned wisdom, right? And I'm going to try to give you different versions of that. I'm going to show you some of the research. I'm going to talk about it from a neurological point of view. I might even talk about it from a cosmic point of view. You know, those of you that want to be aligned with the stars. So I'll tell you about those different states of mind. And the first one that we're going to talk about is what they call the emotion mind. And what the emotion mind does is the emotion mind is obsessed with this moment, right? It is really short term. It's only thinking about next. It's like a lizard and what they call the lizard brain, yeah? And what happens with the emotion mind is that this can drive your behavior in the moment. It influences our behavior and it causes problems, particularly if you're impulsive, yeah? So driven only by the emotions, the immediate need right now. The second state of mind, or another state of mind, is what they call the logic or the reasonable mind, yeah? And this state of mind is obsessed with pragmatics, evidence, facts, precision, logical or chronological thinking. So if you got dressed this morning, you got dressed in a logical state of mind. Because you got dressed, you put your knickers on, then you put your trousers on, and you got dressed in a certain order. If you got dressed in an emotion mind, you could be happy and you wouldn't bother with clothes at all, right? So very logical, chronological thinking, mathematics and evidence. And then in between that is something that they call the wise mind. And what the wise mind is really, you know, people think, oh, sit there and work out what, you know, my cosmic truth. What wisdom really is, it's about a combination of both emotions and logic, yeah? So it combines those two things and gives us the decisions that we're after. And we're going to practice this, and I'm going to show you how to practice this. There's lots of different ways to look at this. You know, you can look at this from two different parts of your brain. You can look at it from the prefrontal cortex, which is logic, or you could look at it from the amygdala, which I talked about before, which is the fear base. You can even talk about it in terms of body temperatures. You know, when we're in an emotional state of mind, we tend to be hot, sweaty, moving around, yeah? Whereas when we're in a more logic frame, we're just like, yeah, 2 + 2 is 4. 4 + 4 is 8. And then when we're in a wise mind state, we can see both of those things going on. So I'll give you an example of my wise mind state, right? The reason I don't kill my children. And the reason I don't kill my children is because I have the emotion, which is love, yeah, and I'm happy to see them most of the time. And the other part of it is I keep doing that. Every day I look at one of my kids sleeping and I think, yeah, that was nice, like yesterday, like yesterday, like yesterday. So the reason that I don't kill them, or the wisdom that stops me killing them, is one, logically, if I kill them, I'm probably going to go to prison and I don't want that. And I know that because I feel it every day. So it's that feeling that comes together there. And I know that feeling in my stomach. So like a temperature, it's more tepid. Okay, so look, all human beings, what you can see over time is all human beings can change with enough practice. If they practice anything enough, they can do it. This has been shown through tens of thousands of years. So what do you actually have to do to find your wise mind? Well, I'll show you. So what I'm going to ask you to do, right, is a series of exercises and how to bring this up. So there are lots of these, but I'm going to give you one or two examples now. So first of all, what you can do is you can sit still, and you can start to notice your breathing, right? And what you do is you sit still and you breathe in and you ask yourself a question. So I'll ask myself the question, shall I kill my kids? Yeah? So you breathe in and then you pause and then you breathe out and you wait for the answer. Now the answer doesn't come straight away, but what we're doing through the breathing is we're calming down at the back of our brain. We're calming that down and we're settling ourselves so that we can wait for an answer that's not driven solely by the emotion. Yeah? So we breathe in, we wait, we breathe out, and we listen for an answer. We don't force it. Yeah? And the reason that we do this is that like maybe within a minute or two, the answer is going to come to you. And then when you get the answer, what you can do is you can check it back against what I was telling you earlier. Check. Notice, is the emotion in there? Are there facts, evidence, pragmatics, values? Is there something to follow? You know, is there a structure to this? So with my kids, love, evidence. Yeah. So, like I said to you before, nothing changes without practicing. So this is now your turn. Now you've got to go ahead and do it, right? And without doing it, it's not going to change. So go ahead and try it. And you know what? If you don't like it, then look for another one. But we have to find a wise mind. This is the basis for all of our decision making. Another an exercise for practicing wise mind would be, say, imagine yourself standing at the top of a spiral staircase, you know, in your body. And what you're going to do is you're going to walk really slowly down this spiral staircase, almost like you're going in to your own center. And as you do that, as you imagine yourself walking down that staircase, notice any body sensations, notice any thoughts, maybe sit down, have a rest, and just keep going down, slowly going down, not regulating your breathing, but being aware of it, and see if you can rest somewhere near the bottom. It's like the staircase is in you, so this is around your gut. Yeah, it's what people call gut instinct. See if you can rest there, yeah, and then see if the answer comes to you. Yeah. Another option for it is, one of the things I do is I ask myself the question, I close my eyes, and I wait for the yes or the no to come up into my mind in larger luminous letters. So I close my eyes. Should I murder them in their beds? And I wait, and it appears in my mind. The last thing to remember about this is that, you know, sometimes no answer is the answer. For example, wait. Yeah? Sometimes we don't know the wise thing to do in this moment. So waiting is also wisdom. So overall, what we're doing is we are trying to override just the emotional driven responses. You know, the quick emotion mind being influenced by the moment and that lizard. Yeah? So what we're doing is we're waiting for answers to materialize, either through our breathing or through the imagery of climbing down that staircase. And we know that imagery really helps people, or some people, to settle. So we're getting rid of that, what they call the emotional dysregulation, so that we can find out the way to go. So if you're interested in some of this, get onto our Instagram page and get going. Crack on.